Jim Kerry with the, not Jim Kerry, John Kerry, with the hanging chad.
That was Gore.
Oh, Gore, yeah. Okay, ready?
So, Tony Perry.
Oh wait, today is the 20th?
Male
Yes.
voter
Today is the
observers shall be allowed sufficiently close access to enable them to observe the vote by mail ballot.
Okay.
I should be able to see that.
We are in New California State, Monterey County. It is November 20th, 2020. State of New California Grievance 30. Declaration of Grievance, Statement of Facts. The people of California are suffering from a tyrannical state government which fails to provide a Republican form of governance, enables and supports across its southern border the invasion of the United States of America by illegal foreign nationals, and protects vicious criminals who commit outrageous acts of violence upon the citizens of America, all caused by a government of and for a monoparty system led by a tyrannical dictator who openly defies federal law. California state government violates the following. United States Constitution, Articles 4, Section 4. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a Republican form of government, and shall protect each of them against invasion, and on application of the legislature or of the executive, when the legislature cannot be convened, against domestic violence. United States Constitution, Article 6. This Constitution and the laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States, shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. First Amendment, United States Constitution. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. 14th Amendment, United States Constitution. Section 1. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. Section 3. No person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of president and vice president, or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state, who, having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States, or as a member of any state legislature, or as any executive or judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such disability. Order of the day. The Constitution will not wait. We, the people of the unified counties of New California, seek the removal of the California State Governor. We are determined to stop the one-man rule of a pusillanimous, craven dictator whose words and actions are a grave danger to all U.S. citizens living in California. On October 21st, 2020, in Sutter County Superior Court, a trial took place to determine if the craven dictator governor of California could continue to be a craven dictator or be forced to comply with the U.S. and California constitutions. In the court ruling, quote, today, the court confirmed that Gavin Newsom does not rule California and that we are still a nation of laws. California has not been well served by one-man rule. A return to representative government will be best for public health and the economy. The governor must accept these rulings as a fundamental principle of our democracy and govern himself accordingly, unquote. Recently, the craven dictator governor of California reacted to the court's ruling against him in Gallagher-Kiley versus Newsom case. We strongly disagree with specific limitations the ruling places on the exercise of the governor's emergency authority. Assemblyman Kevin Kiley, writing in his blog, stated, "He can see that this is the end of his one-man rule. That's because, simply put, Judge Heckman's ruling is a home run. In a thorough and well-reasoned opinion, she agreed with us on every issue." Point. Newsom tried to get out of the case on a technicality, arguing that it was moot, but Judge Heckman held it was not for two distinct reasons. Point. Newsom argued that the Emergency Services Act transforms California into an autocracy and places all powers of the state in his hands. But Judge Heckman held that its plain meaning does not give the governor the power to legislate. Point. Newsom argued against any restraints on his future conduct, but Judge Heckman found good cause for a permanent injunction because it is reasonably probable the governor will continue issuing executive orders, violating the California Constitution. Point. Newsom argued the ruling should be put on hold while he appealed, but Judge Heckman has not done that. So what is the effect of the ruling? Let's start with the obvious. First, it's what the LA Times called a, quote, rebuke, unquote, of Governor Newsom. The judge found that several of his orders had no basis in law whatsoever. Second, it's a vindication of the rule of law. In a column about the ruling, Dan Walters writes that Newsom's unlawful conduct is ironic when he at the same time demands that 40 million Californians obey his pandemic decrees, such as shutting down small businesses. Third, the ruling restrains Newsom from issuing further unconstitutional orders. Here is the text of the permanent injunction. Gavin Newsom, in his official capacity as governor of the state of California, is enjoined and prohibited from exercising any power under the California Emergency Services Act which amends, alters, or changes existing statutory law or makes new statutory law or legislative policy. This means that if Newsom continues to rule by fiat, issuing decrees that amount to new laws or policy, he could be held in contempt of court. Fourth, the ruling calls into question many of Newsom's orders. Judge Heckman rejected his argument that Section 8627 of the Emergency Services Act gives him autocratic powers. At least 24 of his executive orders rely on that section, including the business closure order and stay-at-home order. Fifth, it creates a precedent to challenge Newsom's more far-reaching restrictions, including the lockdown orders. Assemblyman Kevin Kiley, writing in a second blog, stated, Newsom's ominous plans. Gavin Newsom has asked the judge to put the permanent injunction against him on hold for a minimum of 2 weeks, which makes me wonder what he has in mind for the next 2 weeks. We filed a strong objection to any such free pass from the Constitution. Yet, at the very moment his one-man rule is finally starting to give way, Newsom is ruling more recklessly than ever. Using his color-coded blueprint, the governor just whipsawed 11 counties backwards, again closing businesses and schools. At the same time, Newsom himself was just caught attending a crowded birthday party for a lobbyist at the French Laundry, a $350 per plate restaurant in Napa. And he has sent his own children back to in-person private school. As he ignores his own guidelines, Newsom still refuses to provide evidence they do any good. The California Business Roundtable has repeatedly asked him for actual data that would show how business openings have affected COVID rates and transmission. And Newsom's own Health and Human Services Secretary admitted opening schools hasn't spreaded the virus. Other states have learned from the data. According to the New York Times, California is one of only a handful of states with the most severe business closures. According to CNN, we're one of only 7 with a school closure order. And Newsom is the only governor that would even think of ordering lockdowns to enforce a phony notion of equity. If we're to have a true recovery, not only from the nightmare of this year, but from decades of decay, it must rest on a foundation of honesty and decency. of respect for the Constitution and the rule of law. That means rooting out corruption, eschewing partnership, bringing people together, and reviving self-government. It means, above all, trusting and respecting the people of California. And Gavin Newsom, it's hard to imagine a more striking foil. It is the responsibility of all Americans to denounce the behavior of such a craven dictator immediately and take action. For New Californians, it's our God-given right, it is our duty to protect our Declaration of Independence, our Constitution, and our Bill of Rights, which all means necessary from a craven dictator. New Californians will not comply. We request the President of the United States act immediately to remedy these abuses by the California state and declare a state of insurrection exists in California. Insurrection. The government of California, the current socialist governor/dictator and monoparty system, along with local officials, are following a coordinated design with the intent to actively engage in acts of insurrection against the U.S. Constitution. The Insurrection Act of 1807 and the Emergency Economic Powers Act are United States federal laws that govern the ability of the President of the United States to deploy military troops within the United States to put down lawlessness, insurrection, and rebellion. Acts of succession. The California government, in conjunction with the socialist state executive, instituted wherever the current socialist governor/dictator has usurped power, has actively engaged in acts of succession and have created a reign of terror on United States citizens living in California with the intent to secede from the United States of America, to thus destroy the very union of states which secures our liberty and freedom. Abdication of authority. Betrayal by the sitting socialist governor/dictator of California and the monoparty legislature and local elected officials is evidence of abdication of their responsibilities and of authority and sovereignty over the citizens of the United States living in California state. Prayer. The citizens of New California State pray for the President to exercise his authority under the Insurrection Act of 1807 or the Emergency Economic Powers Act to end the tyranny being foisted upon the United States citizens living in California State. This concludes these proceedings.
Good job, Lisa.
Yeah, great.